And then there is an air base, which is actually under Australian command in Penang, called the Butterworth Air Base. And we are asked to believe that a rogue B777, which is massive, right? It's like 63 meters long. A rogue B777 would have flown with no transponder, no call sign, above an airbase, and they would not scramble jets to at least go and check what's this. The whole story does not make sense. And there are further clues or proofs to the fact that the plane did not U-turn. And then I had to decide, if it did not U-turn, what happened? How did it actually disappear?
Okay. There were around 280 something 239 passengers, and most of them are Chinese from mainland China. And one thing that we talked about 3 years ago when we were at the 100 was that there is some scientists of sorts and then important people, scientific background.
Yeah, actually, in this edition of the book, I decided not to go too much into passengers and not to incriminate people. It's a very important part of the investigation, actually, but I left it out. Number one, because these people are dead and I can't really check with them,
right,
you know?
Right.
And I can't, I did almost the opposite thing with the captain, because I took the stance of investigating him because he's the key person.
Yes.
And I came with the conclusion that the man was absolutely fine. He was, contrary to everything that has been said, he was actually a very good man, completely sound of mind. And he was probably, some people who knew him well said he was probably the best, the one person you would want to be in command when a disaster strike. So,
go ahead.
Sorry about the noise. But about these other people, it is true that there are a few people, I would say at least 5 or 6, who have nothing to do on that plane.
Okay. But do you believe there is such a thing called like deep state? Because 7 years ago, we didn't talk about these things. Maybe, I'm talking about the US presidential election just finished a few months ago. Now, I didn't believe in the power of the media. They could actually hijack an election information, how it is being flown through around, right? If you control a social media, let's say a Twitter or a Facebook, you could block someone, right? So maybe there is something that some people high up doesn't want some information to be leaked. I don't know. Right now it's still inconclusive, and everyone will have to draw their own conclusion why the plane disappeared, even up till now. But what I learned from, especially over the last few years, is that whether we should seriously think about whether there's such a thing called a deep state, and then whether there's some forces that we don't even know. Like, it's not the news that we see, but there's something that's beyond the news, so to speak.
I think deep state...
Cover up.
Yeah, but deep state sounds a bit maybe conspirationist or whatever, but the truth is that secret services, by definition, are secret, right? So when a secret service, like the CIA or the French services or I don't know much about the Chinese secret services, when they do an operation, by definition, it has to be secret.
Yeah.
So I don't.
You would never know, right?
You're supposed to not know.
Yeah.
And in this case, it's very possible that it was a secret service mission, and if the secret
that caused the disappearance.
Yes,
I think so.
Because and my conclusion in the book, the scenario I come up with, but it's based on a lot of clues, and my clues come from intelligence, so very good sources. Official data, because there is enormous information in the official report that no one has read, basically. It looks like no one has read, because sometime, even just a few weeks before finalizing the book, I still discovered incredible information which are key to my investigation in the official report, right? And then I have first-hand witnesses and all the media that reported at the time, because especially when you report in the first minutes and hours and in the first days of the event, there is no time for a new narrative to have been elaborated. So most of the truth, most of what has been said, and most of what came out in the days, in the hours, I would say, after the disaster, is likely to be genuine. Because at that time, you don't have time. You don't know that something problematic has happened. You don't know that the truth is problematic.
Yeah. But then if I'm just a normal person, and we all are, hopping on a plane, you never know who are the VIP, the scientists, or whoever is on the plane too. So I guess, as a normal human being, we have to find ways to protect ourselves. Otherwise, you could get disappeared.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. At the time, in 2014, of course, in this period of COVID is different. But at the time, you had 10 million people boarding a plane every day.
Right.
So it means 10 million people boarding a plane and possibly thinking, will I arrive?
Yeah.
Or is this
You don't think too much about whether you will arrive.
Yeah, but I mean,
you go in and you tell your whoever when you will land.
Yeah, that's why this accident, this event, MH370, is a mystery. I don't like the word mystery, but it's something, is an enigma that most people want solved. And I really think that my investigation brings it to, it's almost solved. It's I think it's 90+% solved.
Okay.
And all I need now is the ultimate whistleblower. But I already have in my book a lot of whistleblowers, and I have some other sources whom I decided not to quote because it would be exposing them too much. But the truth about this disappearance will come to light soon enough, because there is too much. I mean, especially if many people look at my evidence, and they will be I believe convinced it's what all the journalists who have read it so far have said anyway.
That would be like big news got resurrected, kind of, because it kind of died down a little bit. So if more people look into it, to find the truth of what really happened.
I very much hope. I mean, some big media have taken it already. It was mentioned not just in all the tabloids of UK, because the tabloids of UK, they love that story. So whatever you say about it, they will publish it, whether it's serious, and I believe that my research is very serious, or if it's nonsense, they publish it anyway. So that doesn't mean much. But much more respectable media have also picked it up. The Telegraph has done a very long story about it, and the book has been endorsed by fantastic people, including a reference investigative journalist like Ed Epstein. He said it was entirely brilliant, and Clara Lucas O'Brown, who knows a lot about Malaysia. She's the editor of Sarawak Report, the go-to blog about Malaysia. She also very extensively review it. So I'm confident that this is the beginning of the truth, the whole truth falling.
So it's available in major bookstores globally, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's a bit complicated at the moment with COVID, but definitely in Hong Kong.
Yes.
And there is a short print run going on in Australia, and for Australia and New Zealand, obviously in the UK. And the US is all a different story because of rights and a different market, basically.
Would there be a Kindle version soon?
There is a Kindle version, and there is an audio book as well.
Okay.
And there is, of course, the Chinese version, which was published 2 years ago.
By Red Publishing.
By Red Publishing. And even though it hasn't got all of my latest finding, it still presents, I would say, 2/3. It's leading to where I'm now.
Right.
So
well, they can do a revised edition
I hope
later
so.
on. Yeah. So it's available right now through Kindle and also audio.
Yeah.
Even if they live in the US, they can download it.
Possibly, I don't know about that. I haven't tried. I should ask some friends.
Yes. Who reads it? The English one, the audio part. You read it yourself?
No, they hired an actress actually.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. I look forward to the audio version as well. Thank you so much, Florence.
Thank you, Ed. My pleasure.
Pretty good.